Hello everybody and welcome back at long last to Undertale in Minecraft. It's been a while and in case you're new to the series, this is where we're trying to make a pretty large recreation of Undertale in Minecraft. You join me currently in the Waterfall Swamp area, which is possibly the greatest thing ever created. You know, not to brag or anything, but look at this place, it's absolutely nuts. I love it. Now, I do have to warn you, this video might be a little bit all over the place, partially because I haven't made a video in, like, ever, but also because I just sliced my finger open cooking Cajun chicken, and there was peppers. I don't think that's what it meant when it involved red peppers, but I kind of sliced my finger open, and yeah, it wasn't pretty, so I'm kind of all over the place. I also rubbed chili in my eye, so I've got my eye closed as well. I'm doing well, is what I'm saying. Anyway, you probably want to actually see the build, so let's just get into it, shall we? Alright, welcome to the Hotland lab. Now this is an area that's starting to look absolutely gorgeous, so you know that I didn't make it. This was Ashton's, and every time I come over here, something new has cropped up. We've got a crater over here. We've got a tower now. What's going on? I'm guessing this is like what you can see from the waterfall view from Undyne. You know, when she's doing the dramatic pose thing, that sort of thing. What is this? This looks so cool. This is all new. I haven't seen this. And the idea is that the Snowdon River is going to come all the way along down here and then go somewhere. We've got a few ideas. We can send it back to Waterfall, plunge it into lava, go up to New Home somehow, even though New Home's all the way up there, or get sucked into the core. There's probably going to be some kind of contraption taking the ice cubes in the river up to core, so we need something going on here. And in general, it's just a good excuse to do some fancy tech, but the real good stuff is actually on the inside, because look at this place. I'm just gonna fly around for a minute, let you take this in, because words do not do this justice. Obviously it's not finished, but like, I mean, it's really not bad as is. Okay, the first thing you might notice is this kind of cyan wall as opposed to the white lab wall in-game. The reason we deviated from that, or I say we, Ashton did, and I looked at her very judgingly, but it really works in the end. The reason is that you just get so much more detailing possibilities, I think. Like, look at this wall. Like, if it was a white wall, what would you do? It would just be completely plain. It would just be a warehouse, and it would be kind of boring. The other reason I like this color is it's kind of a thematic middle ground between True Lab and Core, which are the other technological areas in the game. So I kind of like that this is the lighter version of the True Lab down there, but it's also kind of similar to Core, but not really. Although, don't get me started on the Core palette, it is nightmare fuel, okay? But yeah, everywhere you look, you've got details galore. We've got a fish tank up here, which I think was for Undyne's benefit. I'm not too sure. We've got this thing that turns the grass into ice cream. Do you realize that Undyne didn't kill us that one time because Alpha said it was endangered grass? And she actually just uses it to make ice cream. Meaning that Alphys, on the genocide run, caused the doom of the entire world. Thank you, Alphys. Very cool. However, I did do something on the build. I did do a little bit of terraforming in Hotland along with Doge, so I'm going to run that time lapse right about now. This part of the build will go down in history as the saddest part of the Undertale build, because this is the moment where Doge finally gave in to being a complete and utter sellout. But anyway, Hotland, yes, this exists. So before I talk about the cliffs, I just want to kind of clarify where we are in the game, because everyone gets lost, including the build team. So yeah, I should probably just clarify. So we leave the lab here, we go down a bunch of conveyor belts, and then this is the room with all the steam vents. And yes, we have come up with some kind of wacky solution as to how steam vents are going to work. There's some kind of levitation here. I don't know exactly know what's going on here. But yeah. So this cliff is basically just the pretty stuff in the background. This is the cave wall. And yeah, I did the bit on the left, Doge did the bit on the right. I'm not really proud of admitting that because I think Doge's looks better at the minute. But I do think that's because I just haven't finished detailing as opposed to it just being objectively worse. So let's talk about Doge's first of all. So Doge, as we know, he's a slippery fellow. He's kind of a special lad, and he may have built Hotland out of entirely flammable blocks, which makes perfect sense with all the hot, spicy lava. But you know what? It's Doge we're talking about. In his defense, it looks really, really good, and it's a nice break from all the red sandstone that we thought we were going to have to use. Because let me tell you, from our experimenting, it gets old really, really quick. So yeah, you got this kind of chunky design. If you've watched Doge at all, this kind of style will become very familiar to you. He did the waterfall marsh that I was simping about earlier. He did the shape of that, and you can kind of see the same kind of jagged edges in this. And then we have my take on things, which is a little bit different. I tried to give something very volcanic, lots of obsidian, dark colors. And then kind of transitioning up to a brown, and then the idea is to have something like that on top. And yeah, I think it's alright. I think I need to trim down on some of the spikes, add a bit more detail. The path in the middle obviously isn't done. But I think there's definitely some potential for a nice little mini biome in the middle here. I think it's decent, especially from a distance. Once this is all dark, we don't really have it all darkified yet, but you can see what Doge has done with the lights here. And in the cracks, I think it looks quite good. So once this is all illuminated, I think that could look very, very nice indeed. That said, I did have an existential crisis during this because I was told by several people that obsidian is purple. And apparently everyone agrees with this, and I'm like, no, like the crying obby is purple, obsidian is black. I'm sorry, there is no purple in this. It's just a black block. Look, I get it. I understand, okay? You are, how shall I put this delicately? Stupid. And you couldn't afford school, so you watch my videos instead. And I understand that. I respect that, okay? But there are some lines we just can't cross, okay? I'm trying to be a sophisticated YouTuber, and having viewers that don't understand basic colors, not really a good look whenever people say Minecraft is a kid's game. Alright, the last part of the build I want to talk about is New Home. Now in the last video I kind of showcased a little bit about what I wanted to do, and I wanted to primarily use calcite as the main block. And yeah, I've done a bit more progress on that since you've last seen it. I'm going to run a time lapse and hope you enjoy it. And there you are. This is the build without the shaders on. Those shaders make it look way better. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about this as a concept? Don't look at that. But, I don't know. What do you think about this as a concept? At first, I really liked it, but the more I look at it, I'm starting to wonder if it's going to work, to be honest. We do have a few resources available, so since 120 has just come out, we can actually make proper cherry trees now, as opposed to this sort of thing. Not that it's bad, but this would actually take some skill, so now I can just place pink blocks and look good. I've also tried to implement a lot of darker blocks into the calcite, and I think I've terraformed these in a decent way. Obviously, details haven't really been put in place in a lot of this, but just as a concept, I quite like these, the way these are terraformed. But yeah, it could be tricky as this goes on, and also we don't want this to blend too much in with what we're going to be building. So I think the first step is to actually make some new home buildings and then see if this blends in with that. But yeah, I think there's a few good things. I quite like the trees. I like the way the vegetation's been detailed in here. Feels really quite nice. But yeah, there's just an awful lot of calcite, and even with the diorite techniques and the clays and every technique that I can think of, there's just so much to fill. And yeah, it's going to be tricky to curve this off into a roof and then make this look good over a massive scale, because this is probably one of the biggest builds we'll ever do, is the wall of new homes. So we need to come up with a palette that is really good over a large distance. So yeah, that's about it for this update. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you haven't suffered too much since the last one, and yeah, see you in the next one. Okay. Vocals warmed up. Get up here. Get up here. Get ready. Hello, everybody, and